for this team to do anything come late January, early February.
There's no assistant coach in the NFL whose name I have heard more during this offseason than the name Dan Quinn. Meanwhile, Mike T, I come to you. Ezekiel Elliott coming off a bad season. Have we seen the best of him? Is his best behind us? 30 seconds, go.
Absolutely not. And here's why. 3 big reasons. Zach Martin, Lael Collins, Tyron Smith combined, they missed 36 games a year ago. They are 3 frontline offensive line. Compare that with Dak Prescott coming back and 2 number 1 receivers in Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. Much better spacing, much better offensive line play. Zeke Elliott's going to have a rebound year and play very effectively for Dallas.
All right, we will see. That feels like an important piece of this puzzle. And then, Shefty, I come to you because, because it's July, everyone always says great things about the Cowboys. So the fans, the media, Vegas, they all consider the Cowboys to be the NFC East favorite. That's their best month. They're unbelievably good. June, July, they're always, every single year, they win the Super Bowl in July. But all kidding aside, how are they viewed around the league? The people that you talk to, how do they look at the Dallas Cowboys? Shefty, go.
The rest of the league doesn't pay as much attention to the Dallas Cowboys as we do, Greeny. I can tell you that. Now, they are America's team, and they do captivate many people, but I can tell you that each of these teams around the league are much more focused on their own programs than the Dallas Cowboys. Saying that, I think they view the Cowboys as a bona fide playoff contender when they're healthy. We'll see if they are. The defense has to be better, but there's no reason this team shouldn't be competing for a playoff spot.
All right, that is a fair look at it. I will say this. Every team in the league will be paying some attention to the Cowboys this summer because they're going to be on Hard Knocks as that franchise returns. And Stephen Jones was talking about being on Hard Knocks, and he said an interesting thing. He said, you're always going to be in the limelight when you're with this organization. That's part of it. At the end of the day, we believe, although it hasn't played out for us in quite some time, it will be really good for us. It can add a hardness and have us ready. I have a lot of confidence in this team with Dak leading it. Hell, our whole group is ready to make a statement and take the next step. Well, let's talk about the hard knocks of it all there, Mike T, because my first thought was to sort of dismiss that, but you're telling me from personal experience you think he's right.
I do, and I wouldn't have said it unless I went through it back in 2010, which is with the eyes of the football world on you, players play better, they practice harder, it's more competitive. And Greeny, I happen to teach a class at Columbia, and we covered in the late 1960s Vince Lombardi actually saying the very same thing. Now, this is maybe the all-time greatest coach in the history of the sport, saying that when he was coaching the Packers, he used to have cameramen film practice because he actually got better practices because the players knew they were being filmed. So fast forward to 2021, I agree with what Stephen Jones said.
Maybe it does benefit them being on Hard Knocks. Sometimes we look at it as the potential to be a distraction, but maybe it is the opposite. Jeff Saturday, what do you think?
I love it. And I also love the flex by Mike T, little Columbia professor. I hear you big time. Send it out there for the world to know. You know, I mean, let them know who you are, Mike T. No fear, don't shy away from it. No, but listen, I love this Hard Knocks. I love this Hard Knocks with the Cowboys, and I agree with Mike T. I think this does bring a level of excitement to the organization and some expectations. I would say this though: let's make sure we keep our expectations and goals in the right place. The first and foremost, you got to win your division. So let's find a way. Let's not talk about Super Bowls. That's really the part that I'm looking forward to the most. Is when you get inside these team meetings, you get inside what McCarthy's talking about in this team. Are we keeping our goals in check? I don't really care what the world expects out of us. I want to know what the Cowboys organization internally is focusing on. That's got to be win the division, take care of this division, handle our business. Once we get out of it, all the rest of it will handle itself. But make sure we're fine focused, men, on what's really important, and that's getting a home game in the playoffs by winning our division.
Jeffy, how about the Hard Knocks of it all?
Well, as Professor Tannenbaum says, yes, it does benefit teams by having cameras and extra eyes on them in practice. But I would also say, when's the last time that we saw a Hard Knocks team make a big playoff run, make a big Super Bowl push? Has there ever been a Hard Knocks team, Professor Tannenbaum, that's gone on to win the Vince Lombardi Trophy? Forget about Vince Lombardi's practices being taped. What about the Vince Lombardi Trophy for a Hard Knocks team? Has that happened?
Well, we had Darrelle Revis holding out on national TV, and we had Hard Knocks, and we went to the championship game. So while we might have fell short of winning the whole thing, We did win a couple playoff games, and net, it was a positive for us.
Yes, beat
Well, there you
Peyton
go.
Manning
Professor
on the road.
Tannenbaum comes through.
Yeah. Beat Peyton Manning on the road in the playoffs that year, beat Tom Brady on the road in the playoffs that year. So it didn't work against them in that case. But no, to your point, Shefty, no team has won the Super Bowl after being on Hard Knocks. And, you know, again, if they played the Super Bowl in July, the Cowboys would be a lock. But we'll see what winds up happening after Hard Knocks. In the meantime, this is not a good story, what I'm about to show you. But there is a side to it that is fascinating. So the Falcons kicker, Younghoe Koo, was the victim of grand theft auto this past weekend, and he posted an image of an empty parking place and wrote that someone stole his Jeep. And then he wrote, "Can you just bring back my cleats?" And Jeff Saturday, you're going to explain to everyone who wouldn't otherwise understand why that was exactly the reaction you expected him to have.
Kicker's insanity, Greeny. My favorite, I mean, obviously it's awful somebody stole his Jeep, but my favorite point of it is all he cares about is cleats. I mean, how tight is it on game day? Is it fit right? You know, what kind of sock do I have to wear? This is, the kickers are crazy when it comes to their cleats and how they prepare. This has thrown him into a completely different stratosphere. Again, keep the Jeep. You can have it. Bring my cleats back so at least I can get my mind right for the season. I mean, this is, if you could go into every kicker's head, every kicker in the NFL would say the same thing. Man, just bring my cleats back, man. That's all I need. Just bring those things back. Some kind of good luck charm on them. So I love his response to it. Just about the cleats. Obviously not about the Jeep.
That is what he subsequently said. He said, "Just bring it back. I won't be mad. Keep the car. I just need the cleats so I can go out and start kicking." We will see. We'll stay in the division as we continue in a moment. Saquon Barkley. Can the Giants win the division if Barkley isn't back to his best? You'll hear what he said yesterday that should worry the fans of the